Okay, so I'm gonna give you a really quick explanation. So let me actually just initial this. All right, so right now we have the root folder. The root folder is where like the files are located. So the root folder would be this, right? So this is where all the starting files are. So that's your root. Now, the index.html is in the root folder. Okay, so if I did, let's say A, and then I did items, and let's go to index 2. Okay, so index 2, to access it, I'd first have to do this. And since we're in the root folder, we can go folder name, items, right? It's showing up in my autocomplete so you can see. Items, right? That would be the folder. And then in this folder, there's subitem, which is a folder, index2, and item 1. So we want to get index2.html, okay? And this will take us to our second HTML file, okay? So now, if I were to open this in a browser and I clicked it, it would take me to this file, right? And then from here, let's say I want to go to item1.html, okay? So we would do another a tag, right? And then we call this item1, and then we go href, okay? And to access this, notice that it's in the same folder as items. This is a subfolder, but this, let me show you in File Explorer, watch. In the items folder, these two files are in the exact same folder. So we don't need to do any dot slash or anything. We can just say item1.html, okay? Because it showed up in my autocomplete as well. So this will take us to here. And when I get here, oh, that's what I meant to do. When we get here, let's say I want to head to sub.html, okay? So we're going to do another a tag. I'm going to keep this open. Remember that sub item is in the items folder, but there's another file in there. So if I go, let's call this sub item, right? And then we go href. Let's say we want to get to here. So this file that we're currently in, item1.html, is in the items folder, okay? So first thing we need to do is go into the sub item folder. So if you see in my autocomplete, it's showing sub item as a folder, right? If I typed item1, oops, item1, right? These are the available files in this folder. So I can go to sub item, and then in sub item, there's sub.html. So let's go to sub.html, okay? So now we're in here, right? So let's say I want to head back all the way to my index.html page, okay? I'm going to do back home and set the href equals, and then if we're in here, first thing we need to do is do dot slash to leave the folder. So if I do, like, if I try and type something, right? There, see, in my autocomplete, the only thing showing up is sub.html because that's the only thing that's in the same folder. But if I do dot slash, these show back up because we basically, we're in this, oh, my bad, I opened the file. We're in this folder, okay, with sub.html. That's where this is, right? Okay, so we're here, and then dot slash made us go up a folder. So now we can see all these files. Remember, that's what it was in the autocomplete. Index, item, and subitems. Index, item, and subitem, right? But we don't see the index.html. We see index2, but not the index.html. So we need to go back another one, right? So now we've gone back one more folder, and now we can see the index.html, which was showing up in my autocomplete, right? So we've gone from this file, we've left the folder back one, and left the folder into the root, which contains index.html, right? So that's how that works. But let's say this was super in like a ton of folders going down. I wouldn't want to type all of this. That looks ugly. So what you can actually do is you can do dot slash, right? I think that's how that works. Let me just check. Because this one I don't suggest using a ton because sometimes it can get kind of finicky in like in the web. But sometimes it doesn't work. So let's see. See? So it stayed in the folder. Yeah, so just use dot slash. You're not going to get too many nested things, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if I open this in on the web, right? So we have our index.html file, which had index 2, and this should take us to our index 2, which should take us to our item 1, which should take us to our sub item, which should take us back out to our index.html. There you go. So that's how the dot dot slashing works and like how it moves around. So like if I wanted to import this JavaScript file from here, I would do the script tag. Oh, what am I doing? Hold on. Right? And I do source. It's not href, it's source. And we're in the root folder. So I'm gonna close all these. We're in the root folder. So I just type the folder name, just like we did up here. We type the folder name and then the file that was in there. So let's do js/loader.js, which should load, even though this is empty, it should load this file, right? Then I'm gonna just copy this and I'm gonna go into item 1. I'm gonna paste it at the bottom. Let's say I wanted to load the JavaScript file from item1.html, which is inside the items folder. Well, if I type JS, nothing's showing up because the folder doesn't exist. So if I do dot dot slash, the JS folder shows up, right? Because we're in this folder, right? That's the folder we're in. Wait, no, whoops. This is the folder that we're in, and I'm saying dot dot slash to go out one, and then I'm gonna type the folder name, so that would be JavaScript, so JS, right? And then in JS, I want to load loader.js. Perfect. And now you can do the exact same for this one because they're in the same folder. So you can't do this because the JavaScript file is not in this folder. So you'd have to do dot dot slash to go back one folder because we're in here. Then we'd have to go into the JavaScript folder, and then we go into the loader.js folder, right? But let's say we're in sub item. Okay. We can't do this js/loader.js. Notice it's not showing up because it doesn't exist. So let's do dot dot slash. We go into the sub item, like we're in the items folder. Sorry. So we're in this folder and we move back one folder, but we can only see these files. Right? This is not the root yet. So let's go back again, and now we see JS, and now we see loader.js. Okay. So now this would all work, but this JS file is empty, so it doesn't really do anything.